Scizone. I'm Bill Boshier, Channel 38. Glad to have you aboard tonight. A lot of things to cover and a lot of things to get out, news and events. And man, it's been a busy week. First of all, let me get this out of the way. The Heartbreak Kid is coming October the 5th. And if you don't have tickets, you might want to go to WBQC's website, register, and get yourself some. Join me there. It's going to be at the Springdale Cinema. Starts at 7:30 Wednesday night. Take a break in the middle of the week, get your ticket, and you and a friend join me. We'll be there having a little fun with you and watching his Ben Stiller. Funny guy. Good movie. This week, or last week, we got into some stuff, and before that, I had asked you if you wanted to look at some of the psychic stuff going on. I went back and dug out some old footage from a DVD that was put out, oh God, years ago, 10 years ago, way before that. As a matter of fact, it's black and white, how old it is. But it's extraordinarily interesting in the effects of what you're going to see. Some of you are familiar with the Geller effect, or know what I mean when I say where, and we can do that tonight. At the break, if you want to go out and get a spoon and lay it somewhere on top of your television or wherever, just but don't get good silver, use a cheap spoon or stainless steel or something, and just lay it on your television. And if it bends, let me know. My point is this. Tonight, what you're going to see caused some effects. The last time we did this was years ago, and strange things happened when people started bending spoons and things over television. So that having been said, let me bring you up to speed. Her name is, I believe, Nina. And Nina is a psychic who can move things with psychokinesis. She's capable of doing that. And we've got a short 2-minute film clip of her doing it in Russia. Now, this came from Russia via two ladies called Schroeder and Ostrander. And they put together this, brought this film clip back with them. It was released from their Psychic Institute or whatever they call it. I forget now. But whatever I'm showing you is this. The reason this is important is because regardless of whether you believe it or not, it doesn't make any difference. It's not going to stop it from happening. And this woman, after a period of time, began to bleed from her nose and her ears from causing this stress on her body, this psychokinesis. Very, very powerful woman. Anyway, can we run that first clip? Let the folks see that, if we're there. Anyway.
This is Nina Kulagina of Leningrad, a PK psychic who was investigated for decades by some of the most outstanding scientists in the Soviet Union. The research into PK done with Kulagina is unparalleled in the history of parapsychology. She was the focus of the highest level political, military, and scientific attention. From the 1970s on, since she was first introduced to the West, the psychic discoveries behind the Iron Curtain, scores of Western scientists also met her, observed her demonstrations of PK, and in many cases conducted scientific tests with her. Nina warms up her PK powers generally by starting with a compass, trying to get the needle to turn. After she succeeds at that, she goes on to trying to move other kinds of objects, usually non-magnetic. Among the things that she's been able to move by PK, vertical cigarettes, apples, crystal bowls. She's even been able to separate the yolk from the white of an egg floating in a salt solution inside a sealed aquarium 6 feet away from her. Objects are frequently placed inside a plexiglass cube for Nina to try to move by PK. The cube is to prevent drafts of air or the use of threads. Soviet scientists have trussed Nina up like an astronaut and monitored her every conceivable physiological function to try to find out how this PK energy operates. Before the collapse of the Soviet Empire, they uncovered mind-boggling secrets about PK.
There's the first one. Now, you have to remember that this was shot a long time ago, and of course, black and white. And those feats, I guess, have been duplicated. The reason I'm showing you these is because I get letters all the time from people who say, look, I think I've developed this, or I think I'm doing this. Can you help me? If you're doing anything like this, if you have ever sat at a table or you've been sitting somewhere and something moved on the table, or you reached for something and it fell over before you got to it, or some of the incidences. Or, for instance, it may start with light stuff like a paper clip or a pencil or something of that nature that will just roll away from you, an object, an inanimate object. It has nothing to do with whether it is or is not. And I'm always looking for people who display this kind of ability. And if you do, boy, we'd love to have you on the show. Anyway, we've got another clip for you. It's about 1 minute and 15 seconds. This is part 2 to that clip. Can you run that? We'll get to it.
In this film, some of the objects you will see being moved by PK include a compass, a silver salt shaker, matches, cigarettes, matchboxes, and cigar cases. The whole thrust of Soviet research into Psi has been to understand the energies involved in psychic events and to put them to work. Soviet scientists did every kind of physiological test possible on Nina to try to understand the energy involved in PK. They discovered that at the moment an object moves, the electromagnetic fields around her body begin to pulse in rhythm with brain waves and heartbeat. She becomes totally synchronized. The energies of her body become coherent, like her laser beam. In Nina's case, her heartbeat races, sometimes reaching 250 pulses a minute. She often loses several pounds and is ill for days after doing a PK test in the labs.
See? Things like that, matches, inanimate objects. What's the reason for this? When we come back, we'll share some ideas with you about that in some other areas of phenomena. Right here in the Scizone. I'm Bill Moshier. Stick around. We got more to do. I think that's a low blow. I really think that's a low blow, because if you say 25, but if you say 38 instead of channel 25, say channel 38. It'll really work. He works overtime for people that say 38. Art's a good guy, does a lot of work. Anyway, what I was going to bring up with you about this is that anytime people demonstrate this kind of ability, it is always looked at by the people involved. They can do other things. They just are so enchanted with moving an object or bending a spoon. I got a letter this week someone wanted to know his name, or her name, I'm sorry. The family has done it for years, and They talked about, said, we saw it on the first show. When are you going to do it again? Here it is. If you take a spoon or any other object and hold it between your fingers, preferably a cheap spoon. Don't do this. You don't know what's going to happen. And just wiggle it. And I will get a spoon and I'll show you. But think inside the spoon. Direct your energies inside the spoon. The metal itself, between the atoms if you can. And just tell it to bend. That's all you have to do. Try it. Let me know what happens. Have we got a third clip here? This is of Dr. I forget his name. I can't pronounce it. Well, anyway, this is a third clip. Kermesky, I believe I'm told. Dr. Kermesky. Give it a lick. Let's see what this is.
He is president of the International Association for Psychotronic Research. His extensive work in all aspects of ESP is detailed in Psychic Discoveries Behind the Iron Curtain. Radek asserts that Czech psychotronic researchers believe that everyone possesses PK power. He introduces a foremost researcher into what the Czechs call psychotronics or psi energy, Dr. Julius Kermesky. At the time this film was made, Dr. Kermesky was professor of physics at the University of Bratislava, a member of the Slovak Academy of Sciences, and a recipient of the Order of Merit. Kermesky, then in his 70s, had researched this form of PK for over 10 years. This work shows that it seems to be possible to focus energy from the eyes and the hands that cause mobiles to move in the direction that you want them to. Dr. Kermesky is going to demonstrate his ability to influence a typical PK mobile. It's made of a test tube hung inverted over a needle with a file card attached to it like a vane. When the vane turns, it trips a switch and lights a light bulb. So when PK is working, the lights go on. Dr. Kermesky focuses on the vane mentally, commanding it to turn right or left or stop moving. He insists that anyone can learn with practice to use this radiation from the eyes. Dr. Kermesky finds it easier to attract things rather than repel them. Other researchers have found that you can make this type of PK mobile move even by staring at it in a mirror. Dr. Kermesky has developed dozens of different kinds of mobiles for these PK experiments. Vanes, discs, cylinders, and rings. His PK research with mobiles was duplicated in Canada at McGill University in Montreal by a Czech immigrant scientist, Dr. John Murta.
Here we go. This is the point that needs to be made. Children often are capable of these things without any direction at all. It was found that in some of the cribs where they put mobiles over babies, that they would stare at them and they would turn a certain way. Now, if you've got a mobile or something hanging around your house or, as a display or something, you might want to try it. Just letting it go. Some people talk to me about punching holes in clouds and dissipating clouds. Well, what we did is we took a camera, focused it on a cloud, and just went away. Didn't think about it anyway, and the cloud dissipated anyway. So, has that been done? Yes. In Australia, some of the medicine men do this with rain clouds. They call them up, summon them up, and they cause rain. Now, we could probably use some of that around here, so if you've got any of this ability, we'd like to know about it. Tonight, a little later, we're going to take Jim Fitzer's going to stop by for a few minutes. We've got an interesting breakthrough on 9/11 and some of the stuff that's going on with that. By the way, last week I gave you, we're clearing up a lot of things here. We get things done tonight, old history and stuff. Remember the lady I told you last week, Chris Hagerty was here, and he talked about the breathing techniques. Now, do we got to go to break right away, or can I? Oh, okay. Here, I don't know if you've got that ready or not, but her name is Nancy Z, spelled Z-I or Z, or how they pronounce it. And she put a book together on breathing and some of the techniques. Now, I'm not going to get into the techniques tonight, but I'll give you her name, and you can go to Google, and you can download her techniques for the breathing exercise. This is the one where the individual I was talking about was going to play a piano, and his hands were swollen. Took care of it in a matter of minutes. Pain and arthritic conditions. This is what this breathing technique can do. Is it on the fringe of believability? You have to try it. You see, the interesting thing about psychic phenomena or this kind of leading edge stuff is that for the most part, it's going to happen in your home. That's where the research laboratory is. When you get into research environments, you lose so much of the creativity and the ability to do it. And when it's unhampered, when it's ungoverned, things really are a lot easier to happen. Go back, if you will, and we've all heard these stories. I had in the files, there was hundreds of them, where an individual was standing at the sink washing dishes, and we've all heard the story where the mother stopped what she was doing and ran out into the street and just in time to snatch the child from in front of a car or something like that. Or something was on somebody, something had fallen on them, and it took superhuman strength and they were able to lift it off the individual. We hear stories like that all the time, but the other dimension to that is that sometimes people go across great distances and communicate without a telephone or anything else. People reported in World War II having lost loved ones at a particular time and knew exactly when it was. It happened to me early in life a number of times, and some of my dearest friends on one occasion. They went their way and I went mine, and later on that night, they were both killed. And at exactly the time they passed over, so to speak, I had the strangest feeling over me. Later on, my mother called me. I was at work, working a third shift, and she said, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. And I said, it's about Richard and Bill, isn't it? She said, yes. That is what you have to understand. This dimension allows for communication. It is beyond what we know as a telephone, a letter, or information. It will employ all of your senses instantly and then fade. We won't fade. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this. Hey, glad you're back. The phone numbers, I don't know if it's up on the screen or not, but we got phone calls here. Let's go to Eric first. Eric, you're on the air. Whoops, hello. Eric, are you there, sir?
Hi, Bill, yes.
Glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm calling in regards to a couple of weeks ago on a local news channel. I happened to witness something about human microchipping in the hospitals, and it might be happening in local hospitals.
Absolutely.
For identification, in terms of people's records, implanted in their skin.
Sure.
Did you happen to catch this story, I'm wondering?
No, but I do know about it, and there's a lot of resistance to it.
Yeah. Well, amen. About the last thing they're going to put on my skin, or I'd have to put on my own skin, would have to be an anarchy sign, carved in with a knife.
There you are. The other part is that some of these people have developed cancer as a result of that, Eric.
Of human microchipping?
Yes.
Oh, this is sick. It's sick. Yeah.
Anyway, all I can tell you is I read a story. Someone sent me a story, an email. And it spoke of these people developing cancer as a result of it. So if I know it's a nice idea.
I think it could eventually lead to more drastic things.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm just, who's going to buy into that? Really?
Oh, there are people who've already bought into it, Eric.
Yeah, I think it's a shame.
Well, first off, they've done it to the animals, which I understand. But they also, there are some people that are advertising, yes, we're going to get under our skin and all this stuff. I'm not getting anything under my skin from nobody.
Amen.
And who's to say who's going to monitor it?
Right.
Oh, well, this is one of those you don't get monitored. Yeah, right. I walk around and the damn garage door goes up or something. I don't want to be any part of that.
Mm-hmm. You're walking down the street at night to go get a soda at the store, and a helicopter comes behind you because they don't like the way you're looking around, maybe.
You know what? That may not be far from the truth.
I know. Ultimately, it could be ultimate control, of human beings. And that's, come on. Who's going to sit behind those computers high-fiving each other, oh, look what I'm doing now,
Exactly.
Thought programming and stuff.
Well, look at the video cameras they've got already. Oh, it's a great thing. Ask the people in London how safe they feel with it.
Yeah. It's like, but it doesn't matter what you do. You're 360. You're always being seen. So it's most people, kind of go on that mentality as they screw it. But whatever,
Eric, I appreciate the call, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You got it. Let's go to, I guess it's Robin on 3. Robin, you're there. Go ahead.
Yes, hello, Bill. How are you tonight?
I'm phenomenally well for the state I'm in.
A lot of people don't believe in the mind over matter or whatever, moving things with your mind.
But you know what? That doesn't stop it from happening.
It doesn't. And I think that the human mind has a lot more power than
Absolutely.
people realize. And I think it's been lost through the ages.
Absolutely.
I think that we've become so sophisticated. We've trusted science and scientists and people who claim to know more than we do, and we've lost a lot of the things that we should be able to do with our mind.
Look at the idea of there's a movie that you need to see. It's called Perfume, and I believe it's on HBO or one of those. A baby is born. It's a true story. It's based on a true story of a perfumer in Paris. You need to see that, and how he heightened his senses. And you actually get the impression not only does the oral faculty come into play, but also the psychic faculty comes into play, because he could literally follow people and see where they were. Wow. And go to them. You'll see that in the movie. It's not depicted that way, but it was very subtle that I picked up on it.
Wow. I got a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now I've done quite a bit of reading of ancient Greek writings and so forth in the original, and various writings through different times of centuries and that. Do you believe in Atlantis and the power that people had during that time period?
I have to tell you, couch it this way. There is so many anomalies, and they've just discovered some extraordinary steps, not just a few years ago, off the coast of Japan.
Right.
And down in the Bermuda Triangle,
yes.
Off the coast of Florida.
That's right.
Yes. Do I believe? Absolutely, it's there. And you can dive down and see it. Do I believe that was Atlantis?
Possibly.
Possibly. As far as I'm concerned, there's another guy, or he's now passed away, but it's called the Coral Castle. Now you can go online and look up a video on Google about the Coral Castle in Florida. And that guy was using something other than his ability to lift 30 or 40 ton pieces of coral.
Right.
Now, is that capable? Are we capable of those things? This guy did it. He did something, and you can't say, well, he didn't do it. It's there.
Right. Well, look at everything that Tesla did.
Exactly. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Tesla was a reach through what I call a veil. He was able to reach beyond what we knew at the time.
Right.
But now we're coming to find out that he was really on target.
Well, see, maybe he tapped into what we've lost, what the rest of us have lost sight of.
You know what? You're reading my mail. I'm not kidding you. That is exactly the way I feel about it. There's so much unknown potential. God, how would we even begin to discuss it?
Well, they say we use, what, 1/10 of our brain?
Oh.
Imagine the rest of it.
Think about it. If somebody can speak 4, 5, 6, 7 languages and using 10% of his brain, I don't think we use 1/10 of 1%.
I don't think so either.
Not with MTV and the other junk that's going on. Hey, I appreciate the call.
It's up to the rest of us to get it going, Bill.
You got it, kid. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take a pause, and we'll be right back with more of you right here in the Scizone. There we go. Back in the Scizone. Get out, Art. Go away. Art's TV's in here. Give me a hard time trying to fix my televisions already. They're not even broke yet. Anyway, thanks for doing it. I appreciate it. Let's go to line 4, and let's talk to, I believe, Ronald. Ronald, are you there?
Hello, Bill. Yeah, this is Ron.
How you doing, brother?
I love your show. Your show is pretty awesome. I called a couple weeks ago about remote viewing. This is very interesting tonight because my understanding, I do a lot of meditation and I do a lot of research on consciousness, but all these, I used to say psychic all the time, but now I want to rephrase and say innate abilities that each and every one of us.
Let me help you a little bit. Innate abilities is kind of, what I like is sensitive.
Yeah, we are sensitive, and it has to do with our senses within themselves.
Exactly.
The cool thing is, like, we are masters of, there's two types of technologies. There's inner technology and external technology.
Right.
And the external technologies is what we see on the outside of us. We build all these, like a telephone, for example. You were talking about telekinesis and everything else. Like a telephone is built outside of you.
Right.
But when you drop the phone, use the inner technology, which is telepathy.
Right.
But you drop the phone, and it's like we're now, our consciousness, we think that technology is going to take us to the next level, but the next level is the interness.
Let me help you with what you're trying to do with that remote viewing. This is something that I taught for a while and allowed people to understand it this way, and it really helped them. Instead of thinking of trying to view something or project your mind to it, just open up and let it come to you. And there's two ways of looking at it, objectively and subjectively. Subjectively, if you're there and it's cold weather, you'll feel cold. Objectively is that you will see it at a distance, it will come to you, and you will see it as though it were a picture, but it may be only a very quick glance. You have to learn to slow it down and look at it. Yeah,
that's the cool thing about the government's program of remote viewing. Spend all the money. They found out that it comes in little patches, the information, but they were able to, with the protocols that Indigo Swan created, they were able to eliminate the noise and the real signal, which has caused the remote viewing program to be so successful because of that.
We're going to do some of that. We're going to do some experiments later on with that, and we'll give you some tips on how to do it, and we'll play with it during the week. How's that?
Well, I actually know how to do it. I've learned it through quite a few different people who are part of the program.
Oh, okay.
One of the gentlemen has a course that you can actually buy. It's like $250. His name is David Morehouse. He works for the Army. And his course comes, matter of fact, with 3 sealed targets, which later on you do. But the information that he gives you is straight from the source. And it's just so awesome because, energy is everything and everything is energy. And understanding that aspect of things can take you to new levels of understanding your own.
Let me give you one more rule with that.
What do you say?
Let me give you one more rule to apply to that. All time and space is here and now.
Yes, it is.
You got it, my friend. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much.
You have a great night.
You also. Let's, I want to get to, there's another clip I want to show you. But before I do that, I want to have Jim Fitzer here. Well, let's take the rest of the calls. We'll get to Jim Fitzer, and we'll take these calls. Let's see. I got, I guess it's Carl's or Charles. Who have I got on line 2? I'm sorry?
Hello?
Yeah, who have I got there?
Yeah, I'm Charles.
Charles, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm in Ludlow.
Yes, sir.
You was talking a few minutes ago about microchip implants.
Yes.
And a lot of people are concerned about the mark of the beast and all that. And you usually see this portrayed like a tattoo or something, wrote on them.
Yeah.
I looked it up. It's in the book of Revelations, the New Testament, including that book, were written in Greek. And the Greek for mark there means a cutting in.
Okay.
You get it? Like implant?
Yeah, that's with no hesitation, I get it.
Yeah, I just didn't know.
I appreciate it.
Knew that.
That's a good point of view. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Right.
You got it. Let's go on line 3. I know we got, I don't know who that is. I don't know who it is, but go ahead.
This is Randall.
Randall, how are you? I got your name down here, but nobody seemed to Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I wanted to let you know a little bit about the family history, something that happened to me over 20-some years ago.
Okay.
My mother and my grandmother died on the same day, 1 hour apart.
Whoa.
This was in southern Georgia.
Uh-huh.
Well, I remembered in the Bible, which gives you instructions how to raise the dead. Like you say, our brain has more power than what people would give it credit for. I used a particular verse out of Psalms. My mother had been pronounced dead an hour prior. I was in the room with her. I had not allowed them to cover her with a sheet yet. I invoked that verse. She raised up, turned her head to me, opened her eyes, smiled, shook her head no, and laid back down and closed her eyes, and that was it. The rigor mortis thing, forget it. You don't go through all of that just for rigor mortis. We do have powers unknown.
Do you remember what it was in Psalms you quoted?
I really don't now, but I could find it and call you another time.
Please do, or email me, bill@scizone.com. Love to hear from you.
Right, I remember the verse is you invoke the person. The verse was not verbatim, but it was, I command you in the name of Jesus to rise.
Okay.
And that's the most of it. I think that's it in its entirety. But it's in Psalms. I think it's Psalms 117. I'm not sure.
I appreciate it. And find out and let me know for sure, will you?
I will.
Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh.
All right. We're raising the dead, bending spoons, and everything else imaginable here tonight. It is a good time for a break. We'll get Jim Fitzer on the line here. You don't go away. We come back. We got him. Stick around. You're in the Scizone with Bilbo Shears tonight. Hey, this October the 3rd, that's a Wednesday at 7:30. If you don't have your tickets, get them. It's with Ben Stiller, The Heartbreak Kid. It'll be a funny movie. Jump on WBQC's website, register, get yours, and we'll have some fun that night. Anyway, I've got for you a tape that Jim Fitzer put me onto, and this is about some stuff that has happened. It is now flight 175. What's really begin to happen here, I believe, is that technology, the understanding of technology, the engineering side of it, is now looking at the 9/11 and saying, wait, hold on, this can't be. Now, Jim is on the line, but I'm going to tell you what, let's run that clip first, and then we'll get right into this.
Hour and a half, we have shown some of it. Now, this is the latest new video we have. Plane coming in high speed, aiming for the mid-level, and hits it. That was the second flight, United Flight 175, and this is the reverse side of the building. See, the plane actually pierced the building. There were several angles. Virtually came out the other side. Yet another view, the plane hitting.
It's almost like the building swallowed the plane.
Yeah. Yes. And here you see this aircraft below. Did you see that?
All right.
You had to be looking closely on the right-hand side to see it hitting there. And indeed, Russ Mitchell said it.
And when you're at 700 feet altitude, the air is so thick that when the engine, you match the rotation of the turbines, the air, they can't suck the air in, and the things start acting as a brake. The plane maxes out the specs on the plane. The power plant will max out at 700 feet altitude at 330 miles per hour. In other words, it can't fly that fast. And the plane will begin to shake itself apart at about 220 miles per hour at that altitude. So if the plane were flying that fast at that altitude, it would have shook itself apart before it hit the building. You have reached the Boeing Company. If you know the number you wish to reach, please hang up, then dial that number. If you wish to continue to hold, your wait time could be up to 5 minutes. Thank you for your call.
This is Leslie.
Hi, Miss Hazard?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Jeffrey Hill. I was talking to a lady at Boeing yesterday, and she had directed me to you because she said that you have an answer to the question that I was asking.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, the question is, I think it's probably a rather simple one, is it has to do with the maximum speed of a 767-200 at 700 feet altitude.
Oh, boy.
Like, I looked all over the internet and everything, and I couldn't find anything about it.
Yeah. For a 200?
Pardon me?
For a 200?
Yeah, 767-200, yeah.
Yeah, you're right, we don't have much on that.
Like, I had asked some people, and they assumed it would be about 250 miles an hour or something.
That sounds pretty likely because at 35,000 feet it's 530 miles.
So there's no way that it could be going 500 miles an hour at 700 feet altitude then?
Not a chance. Not that fast. Typical cruise speed is 530.
Yeah. Well, I had talked to an aerospace engineer, and he had helped design the shaker system for Boeing that tested for resonant frequencies and stuff, and he said that there was no way that it could be a plane could go 500 miles an hour at 700 feet altitude.
Yeah, that would be like a rocket.
So the air's too thick or something. Or something to do with the engines or something.
I think you're safe to go with what this other fellow told you because I think there's a lot to what he said about how thin the air gets at higher altitudes, which is why we fly at higher altitudes. When would you need your information? I think it'll take him quite a while to find the right person. That's a big company.
Yeah, I need it by the end of the week. But like, if I could just say that it wouldn't be able to, like, that speed would be almost like it would be impossible at that altitude, more or less.
Yeah, I just don't. That's just. I mean, you can just. I don't know how to explain it in technical terms, but I would agree with your premise.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Steph.
You have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Boeing Company visiting.
Hi, could I speak to Lori Bechtold, please?
Okay, one moment, please.
Thanks.
Lori Bechtold.
Hi, Miss Bechtold?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Jeffrey Hill, and I was just I was looking on the internet and I came across your name, and it was just talking about how you were a Boeing engineer and everything.
Find on Google, huh?
Yeah, Google's a wonderful place, I guess.
Oh.
I was just wondering, I've been trying to get an answer to a question, and I was thinking maybe you'd be the one that held the answer to it. It was concerning a Boeing 767, and I was just wondering what the maximum speed of a Boeing 67 would be at 700 feet altitude.
I have no idea. But I would hope it would go pretty slow.
Or would
100 feet?
At 700 feet altitude, yeah. Or would it be possible to go 500 miles an hour at 700 feet altitude?
I don't think so. Yeah, me to reference you to public sources, because it sounds like you don't really need that much information, or you know, I'd love to help you, but your questions seem to be really general.
Yeah, I had spoken with Public Information the other day, and they, the lady I spoke to, she's...
No second plane. It was a bomb. Bomb in another building, not second plane. That was a bomb. Who said the second plane?
That's what we're told, the second plane.
No,
we saw it on television.
Everything.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. This is...
We'll get right to my guest right after this. We're going to take a pause in the action. Don't go away. We got more to do, and he's here. Jim Fitzer, my guest, right after this word. Stay here. And we're back with my guest, Jim Fitzer. Jim, welcome to the show, buddy. Sorry it's so late.
Thank you, Bill. My great pleasure.
Jim, how did this come about? What has happened here?
Well, we have a huge discovery. This is absolutely dynamite in relation to 9/11 research, Bill. A lot of us have been concerned about the authenticity of the videos that were being broadcast out of New York. It's very difficult to show those videos are fake, but there's a huge amount, an accumulation of evidence suggesting they may be fake. There's a series called September Clues right on the internet. You can find on YouTube that now has 8 parts, and other evidence that you can find on 911scholars.org.
Wow.
What you have here is decisive. If you study the videos that show Flight 175 hitting the South Tower, the estimates from the video by MIT are that the plane was traveling 503 miles an hour, British Royal Air Force 575 miles an hour, Federal Aviation Administration 586 miles an hour, the National Institute of Standards and Technology 546 miles an hour, FEMA 550 miles an hour. I mean, all of those speeds, Bill, turn out to be in excess of what that plane could actually physically handle at 700 feet. In fact, the guy you're listening to on this report, his name is Joseph Keith, K-E-I-T-H. He actually designed the shaker system for Boeing. He's an aerospace engineer. And what he's pointing out there is that the maximum speed that this plane can attain at 700 feet is 330 miles an hour. Just to explain it briefly, Bill, the air is so dense that the turbines cannot suck it through the engines fast enough so that it actually starts acting as a brake on the airplane, cause the plane to shudder, shake, and fall apart. So that if it was actually going, say, any time above 220 miles an hour, it's going to fall apart at 700 feet altitude. So all these estimates from the video are inconsistent with physical possibility, which means this video demonstrates conclusively not only that the government has been lying to us, but that the videos out of New York are fake.
Here's the other part. There's no way in hell that plane could have been flying 35 or 40 feet off the ground or 100 feet off the ground and hit the Pentagon.
Yeah, you're talking about the Pentagon. This also impacts the Pentagon because according to the government, that plane was flying 500 miles an hour. Same consideration, although it's a 757. Here we're talking about 767, but the same consequences follow. And indeed, this is a second form of proof based on the laws of aerodynamics that the trajectory the government gave us about the Pentagon is impossible because, as you're observing, a plane in flight accumulates a packet of compressed gas.
I rest my case. I rest my case.
At least 60 feet in the case of a 757 traveling 500 miles an hour, which means it could not possibly have skimmed the ground the way the government claims and impacted on the ground floor.
But a missile could.
Now we have an even more decisive disproof, Bill. This is huge. This is absolutely huge. This is one of the most important discoveries in the history of 9/11 research. Anyone who's interested should go on YouTube to Flight 175 impossible speed and check this out for themselves, and then go to 911scholars.org and learn all the other ways we've been able to prove that the government's been lying to us about 9/11. This is huge.
Again, just go to Google and type in Flight 175-impossible speed. And you'll see everything we're talking about.
And Bill, I'm just saying, I'm the founder of Scholars for 9/11 Truth. I give hundreds of talks on 9/11, hundreds of interviews. I published a book called The 9/11 Conspiracy, bringing together the results of 13 different experts on this field. Not only has the government has been lying to us across the board, but this is one of the biggest discoveries in the history of 9/11 research.
Unbelievable. As usual, Jim, you're on the leading edge of it, and if people want to get in touch with you to ask questions, how do they do that?
Just go to 911scholars.org, Bill, and there's a contact us right there. You'll get my email address and my phone number.
Jim Fitzer, my guest. Thank you, Jim, for the update. Take care and stay safe, my friend.
Thank you, Bill, so much. Bye now.
Thanks a lot. Jim Fitzer. Now, that's the way it happens all day long in the Scizone. Information just like that. Whistleblowers from all over the world calling. I watched today on the internet Mr. Maliki, the Prime Minister of Iraq. And one of the things I noticed, it wasn't carried on television, and we're at war with this country. And two, there was no nationally known newspapers there carrying the story. Something stinks. I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit leery of it. Maybe we'll come up with a look and a way to answer some of these questions. And by the way, if you're spoon-bent on your television, let me know. In the meantime, the idea that somebody doesn't believe doesn't hold water anymore. You have to make the decision for yourself to let all the information come in. Whether you believe or whether you disbelieve doesn't matter. Whether you believe 9/11 happened or it didn't happen. What really matters is the results you get with your system. Join me here next Saturday night, right here in the Scizone on Channel 38.